The thing is, if you have gone through all these things, if you have really practiced it, if you have really studied it, practiced it, you have tried to implement it, whether it is in your writing, whether it is in your the performances you directed, whether it is in the performances you yourself did, you can talk about stuff very naturally, you can write about stuff very naturally. But people who haven't gone through that, who haven't gone through that effort, that discipline, that effort, those practices, those processes, to them these are just words, lines, what he is saying we don't even understand, what is the meaning of it. But people who have gone through that, they have understood what acting can give you. If we talk about that human experience, we love giving that performance, we love portraying that role, portraying that character, and we want to go to any extent to portray that character, and that is a joy of acting. Sometimes it is more than a profession, whether you call it art or whatever you call it, but you are giving it a lot and you are having that human experience. So people who criticize it, mostly who are not from the profession, they will criticize. People who are not from the profession, they will criticize, obviously. And people who understand it but cannot perform, even these writings, these talks, these discussions can mean a lot, because they can relate to it. Oh, I could have given that performance in that way. Oh, I can relate to it. Those people are there. Some people are providing a particular kind of entertainment. They don't want to listen to all these things. But when you are not understanding or listening to all these things, or you don't want to understand, that means you are missing out on life. So it is not like I am rejecting this person, I am rejecting this and that. It is like, I want to give this performance in a better way. If you want to give this performance in a better way, you have to go through these processes. And these are the things we can work on. These are the processes we can go through. So ultimately, we are giving a good performance. So when we will give that performance, people will enjoy, we will enjoy, the director will enjoy. Overall, the thing we will create or the thing we will offer, that will give an entertainment people will enjoy, and great performances. So keeping all those things aside, what we are talking about here is, we are not talking about mediocrity here. That is the first thing. But if you want to give a decent performance, but you still have that in you, you are studying, you are trying to take inspiration, you are trying to, looking at, you are trying to look at places so that you can find inspiration, you can find things you can study, things you can observe, things you can imitate, things you can, imagine, so that you can become a better actor. What you can do is, you can study, you can go through those processes. I will suggest go through those processes. If you really want to be a better actor, better director, go through those processes. Even as a writer, I will say, go through those processes, because what happens is, sometimes when people are writing, there is a disconnect with the characters. There are people like that. Sometimes when people are writing, they are so much involved in the characters they are creating. The dialogues are having that, the scenes are having that, the conflicts are having that, and that is the kind of performances we want to do. Maybe you as a human being are, very different from the character you are creating, but you understand that character. So when you are writing that dialogue, when you are writing that scene, you are doing justice to that scene, or you are doing justice to that character. So it is not like a monotonous, one-dimensional character, rather, complexity of the character, nuances, multi-dimensional character, you are creating. So ultimately, what happens is, sometimes people do a lot of research before they are creating those characters, creating those dialogues, because in one line you can say so much, and the smart audience will know in this one line you are saying so much. Sometimes a silence, a proper silence, will give a lot of entertainment to the audience. When do you give that? That is the thing you need to learn, and that is what you learn doing these practices, giving a lot of effort. You decide yourself what is good and bad for that particular movie. Then you go through drafts, you go through repetitions. This is the thing you didn't like, this is the thing you didn't like, you are improvising. But you should have that in you. You should be your own best critic, whether you are becoming an actor, whether you are becoming a director, whether you are becoming a writer, whatever it is. You should become your best critic. You don't need anyone else. Whenever I am writing this thing, I know this is the best thing I am creating, and this is objectively, not subjectively. I am not biased. I know that when I am giving it to the audience, they will like it. So I am creating, I am writing in that way. That is the dedication I am giving. That is the enthusiasm, passion. If I become part of that audience, I will enjoy it. I will enjoy the movie. That is true, So I can talk about Michael Chekhov, games and body, this actor character harmony, physical gestures, weaving method, and all these methods are there. And I can talk about many other people, but these are the names you should know as an actor. And the people who, some of them have gone through that, so they can relate to it. But again, I will mention one thing, earlier days and now. So theatrical and cinematic I have mentioned. How do you find a balance, more verbose dialogue driven scenes or scripts, then more visually cinematic scenes, and how do you strike a balance, or you shift towards more verbose script, or it can be a more visual script.